Hey everyone, Jason Sherman here. Strap on your boots. In today's episode, I have special guest Gunther Mueller. He's been an entrepreneur for 30 years. And today we're going to talk about the 5 steps needed in order to create a life that you love using the magnetic mind method. Ooh. Are we talking aliens? Are we talking simulation theory? Is this alternate realities? Is this space, or is it just something else?
You talking to me? So this is just
I'm talking to you. You talking to me? I'm talking to you.
old-fashioned quantum physics practically applied. That's what this is.
Awesome. And what about quantum physics makes it the magnetic mind? Are we talking about the string theory and how things intertwine together? Attracting, like the law of attraction type of thing. What you put out in the universe comes back to you, or
Let me put it this way to you, okay? Because you can spend hours on talking about all that and you don't need to know it, okay? What you want in your life is the results that you want. So what I talk about is how to create a life you love in every aspect. There's 3 things that people want in life. They want more money, they want more love, and they want more health. Look at the human condition. We run from pain, we go to pleasure. That's what we're trying to accomplish in life. And I've been in part of the personal development movement now for 30 years as well. Spent multiple 6 figures on it, going to all kinds of courses, read the books, went to all the seminars, did all that stuff. And still, after 30 years of being an entrepreneur, being in business in multiple industries, from food distribution to coffee to solar to the medical field, literally helping tens of thousands of people transform their health destiny, there was still a piece missing. And the piece that was missing was this idea that you need to step out of the problem-solving reality and step into the creator stance. What our true problem is as human beings is we've forgotten who we are. And so it might sound a little bit of woo-woo, but this asset that we have, that's our mind, we ignore its power and we do not know how to use it. And there's basically been 50 years of research on the quantum field. Basically call it the unified field, call it the field of infinite possibilities, call it the force, call it whatever you want. It's just out there and we're all connected to it, but we have forgotten that connection. So what I do is I help and I train people to reconnect to that side of themselves, not to solve problems in their life, but to truly, for once in their life, focus on what they really want, whether that's in business, whether that's in their relationships, whether that's getting an optimal health state. When we focus on the problems that are in our life, guess what grows? The problems. We have not been taught through school, college, parents, you name it, friends, to actually focus on what we would love to experience.
these are not the problems these are not the answers you're looking for, right? It's a
That's one of my favorite lines, actually.
because it's a mind trick. Like, I mean, I've been involved with a lot of meditation, yoga, and a lot of ways to visualize what it is that I want out of life, out of business, out of success. And the first thing that I always tell people is that nothing that you're going to do is going to be easy. Nothing that you're going to do is going to take one day to do. It's not going to happen overnight. And you need to prepare yourself mentally for a journey that is going to be years long. You're not going to be losing weight overnight. You're not going to, get that new job overnight. Like anything that it is you're trying to do, it's not going to happen overnight. So it's a mental game. It's telling yourself, calm down, take a breath, and work your way up to wherever it is you want to, put your goals on a list, make them into micro goals, break it down into smaller tasks that you can tackle every day as you reach that larger goal. And so, yeah, I agree, man. This whole thing, it's not even a woo-woo thing. It's not. And also, as you said too, with quantum physics and quantum theory and all that, I do believe that whatever you put out, your energy, your positrons, whatever it is that you're putting out in the world, in the universe, something out there is hearing you and sending it back to you in some way, and I think that's really the key is understanding what you said is unlocking the potential in your brain, because we don't use it, right? Our brains use, I believe, 10 watts, I heard, of energy, and like light bulbs were 60 watts or something. So like it's a very small amount of energy. So we need to be able to tap into what we can use and utilize it, right?
All right, I'm going to simplify it for you because everything you just shared there is still in the problem solving reality.
Yeah.
You believe that it's going to take a long time to get the results that you want. You are correct. It will, right? What if things could be easier? What if you could manifest that which you want as soon as possible? What if it doesn't have to be years of struggle like most people experience right now, whether it be building a business or a family or, a physique that you'd like to experience? What if it's all just about focus? What if it's all just about a choice? All right, I'm going to share four of the creator stances that
Let's hear them.
four creative stances are, and these are choices, because the only power that we have in life is truly the power of choice. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed at night, and you can study all the knowledge, you can study all the theory, you can get all of it right and know it backwards and forwards. But if you're still not getting the results in your life that you desire, that you would love to have, you need to know and understand this part, because this is the magic. This is the secret. This is the power. A creator stance sounds like this: I choose to live my true nature and purpose. I just choose it. Whatever that entails, whatever that encompasses, a unified field can bring that to you on a silver platter. It does not have to be difficult. It does not have to be hard. You just have to choose that which you would love to experience. Another one is I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. I just choose it. I didn't say I'm the only creative force in my life. I said I'm the predominant creative force in my life. It means I get to choose what is in my current experience, what is in my active experience. Now, again, you were right. It doesn't happen maybe overnight, but it doesn't have to take years to manifest either. That's a belief system. The other one is I choose to live a life I love. This is the one I focus on most because it's the most comprehensive. It's all encompassing. Because when you say I choose to live a life I love, most people that I ask, they don't even know what that entails. If I ask you, hey, what's the life that you love look like? A lot of people, first response is, well, I don't really know. And that is your problem. Your problem is that you don't really know. You have not really thought about it. You haven't contemplated. You have not thought about it in its granular detail and its technicolor reality. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What are you doing? I like to use the concept sometimes of your average perfect week. What are you doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in this life that you love? If you can't answer that question, you have zero chance of manifesting it. You first need to know what it is that you want. And a fourth one would be like, I choose to be healthy and vital. The choice of, let's say, beating cancer or beating cardiovascular disease or preventing Alzheimer's and dementia is, again, focusing on the problem. If you want optimal health, you need to focus on desiring, wanting to be optimally healthy and vital, period, and allow the unified field to manifest the people, the opportunities, the situations, the circumstances. All of that will show up for you when you get clear on what it is you truly desire.
Yeah, and it's been proven that people who have a positive outlook when they have cancer, people who keep a healthy positive mindset, thinking that they're going to beat it, they're doing well, they focus on the healthy parts, they eat healthy foods, exercise, and carry on with their life as if they are not sick, it's scientifically proven that their body says, oh, then I'm not sick, I'm going to get better. And the body just kind of fixes itself. Whereas the people who get depressed and start drinking alcohol and doing drugs and wallowing in misery, they're the ones who get sicker, at least from what I've read. And I agree what you said about, wanting something and thinking about what it is you want. It's one of the things that I always tell people is you have to visualize what it is you want in the future. And by visualizing it, you're constantly reminding yourself, like, I want this. I know what it looks like. I know what my life would be like once I reach that goal. So now I have to tackle whatever it is I have to tackle to get there, right? And that's usually the first step.
Because one of the key parts of manifestation, what you're saying is, well, I'll be this way when I get there. It's actually the opposite. We need to be it now in order to see it. This is the idea of acting as if. Let's take, for example, you're an entrepreneur and you'd love to achieve abundance in your life. And what's really abundance? Abundance, simply defined as having more than enough always. Just everything abundant. Abundant life, abundant health, abundant cash flow, abundant money, abundant joy. It's having more than enough, more than you could ever spend, right? That is kind of the idea of abundance. Well, how do you get that? Some people think, well, they have to create a successful business in order to get that. Some people think they need to be in a different relationship sometimes to have intimacy and have happiness and all that. So the reality is we do need to get clear on what we want, but the imagination that you speak of, the reason that that works, the reason imagination and visualization works is because the mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination. And a good example of that is our Olympic athletes. They have spent more time in their mind imagining breaking a new world record, standing on the gold medal podium, receiving that medal, beating their most arch, enemy competitor by 1/100th of a second. They have seen themselves do this tens of thousands of times in their mind before it actually happens in reality. And if an Olympic athlete can do that, and believe me, they're committed to it, they don't just do it once in a while.
Right. Years.
Yeah, years, every day, multiple times a day. That's how you get on the gold medal podium, okay? Yeah, you do the work in the pool or on the track or the javelin throw or skiing or whatever it is you're competing in. Yes, you do the work in the physical world, but it's more important to do the work in the imaginative reality.
Visualization, right? Thinking about what it is you want, because I might look at it from a different perspective because of the fact that it sounds like we're both saying the same thing in a different way. But as an example on my end, I've made a couple of movies, right? And when you make a movie, you really have to visualize not only what the movie's going to be in your head, right? After you write down the screenplay, you need to see that in your head, and you need to know what the shots are going to be like, what the sets are going to be like, what the cast and the crew is going to be like. So for me, visualization is like playing out in my head what the events are going to be in the future, and then acting on those events.
So I want to touch on that because visualization is just one step of the deal, right? To manifest or create a life that you love, there's 5 simple practical steps that I want to share with the first step, which is the most important, is to have a true choice, a true end result. So you talk about making a movie, right? You probably had a true choice of producing a certain type of product, a certain type of film, a certain type of story, whatever the movie was, you had an end result in mind, what it looked like. And so that's really the first step, is having a true choice, call it an end result, call it a true desire. We have not been taught in life to choose from a place of choosing something that we just love. We want it just because we want it. We want it just because we want to experience it, because most people make choices through the process of elimination, process of consensus. What do my friends think about what I'm choosing? Are they going to approve, not approve? There's a whole myriad of ways in which we choose. What I'm talking about is having a true choice based on what you would just love to experience for no other reason than you would just love to experience. So that's step number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is you need to create a structural tension in the mind. The mind loves to resolve tension. And what I mean by that structural tension is when in your visualization process, in your imaginings, you need to think about the end result, the true choice, and what it feels like to be in it compared to what it's like now. And that doesn't mean putting a negative judgment on the way it is now, because the way it is now is just what is. It's just what is now, because you created what is now anyway, so don't be hard on yourself. It's not because you're broken. It's not because it's your fault. It's not because you're screwed up or because you're not smart enough or anything.
It's just the current reality.
It's just the current reality. So we create the structural tension in the mind between the way it is now and the way we would love it to be. The way it is now, the way we would love it to be.
Yep.
Third step is really to get into that emotion of the end result, because the emotion is kind of the lighter fluid. And again, our thoughts and our emotions are not real. Okay, we manufacture them, we create them. They are not things on their own. We create them. So by getting into the emotion of that end result, it is the lighter fluid that allows the quantum field to understand that you are serious about drawing that thing that you say that you want into your present moment experience.
What will it feel like when I reach that goal? What will it feel like when I'm at the movie premiere? What will it feel like when I win an award? What will that feel like, right?
Yeah, and tagging the words, it might be, you might feel confident, you might feel invincible, you might feel powerful, you might feel free, you might feel abundant, joyful, happy. Whatever those feelings are, is getting in touch with that emotion of the end result. What are those feelings? This is a super important step because it's the Einstein said there's only two things in the universe. There's information and there's energy. Information is that true choice, that true desire. The energy is the emotion. When those two come together, that is what creates the manifestation, the creation of that in your present experience. The fourth step is we need to recode the subconscious programming. We all have self-sabotaging thoughts, programs running in our subconscious mind, created and crafted through a lifetime of traumas, upsets, disappointments, you name it. For most of our life, we've been just trying to figure out what it's like here. What do I need to do to survive, in a nutshell? And so the top 6 self-sabotaging identities are things like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, I'm insignificant, I'm not perfect, I don't belong. And there's myriads of tentacles around those 6 ideas, but we all carry them, we all have them in our identity. And the only way that the current reality is going to change is if the identity shifts. The identity is always congruent with the current reality experience. If you want your experience to change, the identity needs to change. And in the magnetic mind method, we do about a 15-minute recode where we go to the superconscious mind. We come down. This is where it's a little bit woo-woo, but
it's all good.
You don't have to be a spiritual person. You don't have to be a professional meditator. You can't screw this process up, especially when you're guided by a coach, at least in the beginning, to walk
right.
And in about 15 minutes, we help the identity shift. And people just feel lighter. They feel like somebody crawled around in their brain for a second. Sometimes they see colors or visions of the past and things like that. And you just become this observer and just see what happens, okay? The identity shifts. The 5th step is we need to be in action. This is where the law of attraction and the secret and the personal development movement has really dropped the ball a little bit. It's not just action. It's the next obvious action that's in alignment with that true choice. So let's take health for an example. I would love, my true choice is to be optimally vital and healthy. At the end of a session like that, when you do a recode, I would ask a client and be like, okay, so what's the next obvious action that you should take? That's
buying some healthy food.
Could be, hey, I need to hydrate. I need to drink some water. I need to do that consistently. Maybe I need to eat less fast food and I need to eat some more healthy food. Maybe I need to call my doctor because I haven't seen him in 10 years.
Get a blood test. Go, start exercising more, all sorts of things, right?
It could be very, very simple, but even the simplest obvious action that moves you towards that true choice and that end reality informs this quantum physical field that you're serious about that choice. And if you do it consistently, it's that consistency of putting that information and that emotion into the field that eventually, like a Star Trek, Starship Enterprise tractor beam, is drawing that one possibility out of the field of infinite possibilities, bringing it into your present moment experience. And as soon as it comes through your present moment experience, it becomes part of your past. And the more it comes into your past, we can see that as evidence. So the truth is, we are all creating our reality right now. Most of us are doing it unconsciously. The trick here is to learn how to become super conscious, learn how to create it actively, on purpose, with intention, with clarity, right? And learn this process of recoding. And this is truly a revolution in the personal development movement, because people that learn how to do this get their results much
quicker
than the way we've been doing it for 40 or 50 years.
Fascinating stuff, man. I really enjoyed this a lot. I actually learned some stuff, of course, because as you mentioned, I've been doing things a certain way, but there's a much bigger and more detailed version of it, which you outlined. And I'm gonna have to watch this over again. as I'm editing it, I'm gonna be taking notes. So I really appreciate it. And where can people find out more about you and enlist in this method of yours?
Yeah, the best way to get some free resources, I have a great morning ritual at dreamlifemasters.com. Dreamlifemasters with an S.com. Go there, you can download the document. It's about beginning small steps, creating new tiny habits in your life, and that's a great tool to at least get started. You can also join a webinar where I go more into the science of manifestation creation, this quantum physical reality. If you want to know more about that, can join one of my webinars and learn about that. And then for your listeners that are on the podcast, I only do this for podcast listeners. If you'd like to experience a recode with me personally, you can go to questforthequan.com. QUESTFORTHEQUAN.com. It usually goes for $397. For podcast listeners only, I'm doing it for $109.
Nice.
It's an hour and a half with me. We go through the 5 steps. You get to experience the recode, and you get to feel what this shift feels like.
Awesome, Gunther. Thanks again, man. I'm sure people learned a lot from this episode. And everybody, let's get your mind magnetized and decoded and recoded, right? And leave some comments if you have anything for Gunther. And in the meantime, I will see everybody in next week's episode.